We have some absolutely fantastic news from Audi, and this is what I had a feeling they were gonna do this because we've seen so many other companies go the exact same route. They announced 4 or 5 years ago in 2035 we're gonna go full EV and not have any sort of internal combustion engines left, but that of course changed now that we're seeing the sales numbers and also the infrastructure is not there yet for this big transition. And these are not plans that Audi are canceling. They're not going to be a full EV company. Kind of, as I said, we knew it already. But we're gonna have this article from Car and Driver, and also some great news of the about the Audi R8 and the Audi TT from the CEO himself. And I'm gonna let you know if I were to pick one of those to come back, which one that would be and why in Photoshop in just a minute here. So first of all, let's check out what's going on here. So Audi alters its plans and will keep making gas engines past 2033. Not a surprise whatsoever. There is no deadline for an all EV lineup, and ICE development will continue to maintain flexibility, aka profitability for the company. So last year, the company decided to put more funding into developing hybrid technology. There's the potential for future gas-powered RS models as well. I love to see that. The company's official stated plans was a full EV range by 2033, so no more internal combustion powered Audis. Now, as reported by Autocar, that deadline is off the table. The new short-term plans include a new lineup of gas-powered vehicles, hybridized or not, to be rolled out by next year. So they're ramping up the plans and new models. It's going to be very interesting to see which ones are making a comeback. Hopefully both the Audi TT and the R8 will make their comeback to the lineup here. And the CEO expects Audi to still be producing gas-powered cars past 2033, which is absolutely fantastic news. Now, we do have some European laws. Europe has some stricter laws when it comes to EVs than what we have over here. So EU laws have a set target date of full electrification by 2035. On this side of the Atlantic, though, about 12% of Audi sold in the United States were EVs. Globally, that percentage is about 30%. So it's a huge share of the sales of Audi globally, but not so much here in the States. And then the total figures slightly ahead of Mercedes, but slightly behind BMW. Audi will be putting R&D money towards its all-electric vehicles still, so they're not ditching these plans completely, but they're not going to go 100% in on that and turn this into a full EV company. So indications are that RS versions of gas-powered Audis will still be on the table. And this is what I want to see. The Audi RS models from the B5 Audi RS4 Avant back in the day, legendary models. We cannot make them into EVs. It's simply not going to work. I would call them something else. I would not call them RS models. So hearing this from the CEO is very good news. Audi's performance division has delivered some hugely characterful motors over the years, from the RS6 twin turbo V10 to the TT RS snorty turbocharged inline 5. The CEO didn't entirely close the door on speculation that it might return the Audi TT, perhaps accompanied by its bigger brother, the R8. That would be the best case scenario, to have both of them back. He said it was too early to talk about such things, but there might be a chance to be surprised in the future. I think if the CEO says, even hints at something like this coming back, I think it is coming back eventually. They just need to figure out how, what type of vehicle it's going to be. If I were to pick one of the two, the R8 or the TT to come back, honestly, I'm going to have to go with the Audi TT, because to me, the Audi TT is one of these very, groundbreaking designs when it first came out. It was so ahead of its time with the first generation, and we're going to have a look at that here in Photoshop right now. The entire lineup of these beautiful Audi TTs that we have right here from the beginning. This being a 2003 model year, so it's not exactly the first one. This being, like you see here, this is actually the V6 version, the 3.2, which only came in an automatic, which was kind of a shame. But the thing about this design is it's such a timeless design. It's still today look almost more modern than most other cars that we see coming out today. It still looks like a very, very modern looking machine, this. And what I love about this is this Bauhaus design. We have everything sitting flush with the bodywork here. The headlight come in the line of the shoulder line coming right here and then dipping down, creating the outline of the headlight unit, looking very beautiful. And we have a clear separation. Look at the separation here of the bumper from the top half graphics, being the grille, which also sits again flush with the bodywork, and the lower section. I remember when this first came out, and I was amazed by this design. I thought it was one of the coolest vehicles I have ever seen in my life. I also love these wheels that we have from this era of Audi. You can see just how clean the line flow is in this design. There is nothing complicated about this design. And as you know, I like clean, simplistic car designs, and that is exactly what Audi is, with some key defining graphics. Now, Audi got some lawsuits in the beginning of the TT's development, because at highway speeds, when this went, say, 120, if it got up to 120, but top speed, Autobahn speeds, the rear end tended to have a lift to it. So the rear end lifted up from the surface like this, and that causes the rear tires to lose traction, and that caused some horrible accidents in the early days of Audi TT. That is the reason why they, after I think only a year or even less than a year, they decided to add this small little spoiler on top here. It looks a little different on the 3.2, but on the regular 1.8 liter turbos, it's a little bit smaller than this, but it doesn't really ruin the design. But without it, it looks a lot cleaner, of course, but it's just something that they had to do for the safety of the drivers. Now you can see the same design here, this big fenders going around the wheel arches, and how this taillight again sit flush with the bodywork, almost look like a mirror image of the front design. Very similar design from the front and the rear, looking very, very cool. Now coming into the second generation, every single Audi TT generation to me look beautiful and has a very unique design to it. And this is almost like the Volkswagen Beetle. It's a very small incremental changes over the generations, still keeping the original soul and vibe of what the Audi TT is, keeping that intact throughout the generations. And look at the hood lines here going down from the A-pillar into the grille, framing the grille beautifully. We don't have the same beautiful separation with the bumper like we have in the first generation here. Instead, we have this single grille now, single frame grille that crosses between the top half graphics and the lower half graphics, which is totally fine for me. It still looks like a very beautiful design. I love this little small chamfer that we have underneath the headlights, and these graphics in the lower section. Again, if you update the key graphics here, if you put some very nice modern looking LED daytime lights and headlights into this design, it would still look like a modern 2025 car, even though this came out in 2007. Looking at the rear end, super planted design. And the thing about this, back in 2007, this got an active spoiler. So they didn't want to recreate the mistake they did with the first generation, where you have the lift at high speeds. So instead, they kept the clean design at lower speeds, but when you got up to highway speeds, you have this automatic spoiler just popping up here to increase the downforce in the rear end section of the vehicle, so that the rear end does not lose traction again. The thing I want to see here is I would love to see a symmetrical exhaust pipe, something that we have on the RS models, but not on the regular Audi TTs like you see right there. But look at this design. I mean, it's such a beautiful looking design, and this is the reason why I prefer to see the TT back instead of the R8, even though, of course, I would love to see the R8 back in production. But the R8 to me is not as timeless, is not as an iconic, it's hard to say, but it's still an iconic design, but not on the level like we have with the Audi TT. And then we got a small little facelift here for 2011. You can see the differences here. It got a different lower section. Now it looks way more modern. We have this upswing in the middle section of the front end here. And I think it got even cleaner. Specifically, if you look at these sections down here with the plastic, the internal pieces of this area, I think it looks way cleaner on the facelifted version right here. And we got these daytime run lights, small little LEDs, similar to what we have in, of course, the big brother, the Audi R8 of the time as well. We have the beautiful lines intact. I love how this line goes in and creates a nice framing for the lower graphics. I mean, these are the type of designs that I personally miss today, when everything is so freaking complex in the line flow and how everything is intersected with each other. It's not, we don't have clean designs in car designs today. And that is the reason why pretty much every time a new car comes out, almost 95% of the cases, I feel like it's just too much. It's too complex of a design in new cars. And here you can see the spoiler actually activated in this photo right here. I think it looks clean. It doesn't ruin the beautiful simple design that we have of the Audi TT of this generation. And I also like this design right here, how this cuts in and creates the placeholder for the license plate, in addition to a super clean, simple design for the lower diffuser. Just a black piece down here, exactly like I want to see. Again, I would love to see these be symmetrical here on the side again. But the taillights, beautiful. Looks like the first generation, a little bit squished, a little bit narrower, and a little bit more stretched out horizontally to create better width of this design. Now, coming into the latest generation, actually introduced back in 2015, and this has one of the best interiors ever created in a car from this era, because you don't even have a screen inside of this vehicle. Instead, you have these small little buttons with a small screen inside of it. And I've reviewed several of these, and I love stepping into these every single time I get the chance to do that. You can see the clean design is still intact, got a little bit more chiseled here. And now we also have this lower section creating a nice baseline, because it cuts underneath the grille into the sides, looking very beautiful. And the headlights look tight as well. What I would like to change here for the headlights is create a little bit more of a dynamic feel, maybe have some different thickness to the headlight unit themselves. So maybe have something like this, so we have a more dynamic feel for the headlight unit, and not just have them be lines inside of the headlight, if that makes sense. Just create some sort of fluidity for the headlight unit itself. But that's just a small little detail. Other than that, super clean design. It definitely keeps the original in mind when they designed this. It's hard to, even for people who don't like cars in general, everybody knows what a TT is when they see an Audi TT. That's how good of a design and how unique of a design this is. And look at how clean the side view is here, the side profile with the surfacing, and we still have the big fenders around the wheel arches here, looking beautiful. Same goes for the rear end. Love this little strip that we have, this light bar in the middle connecting the two taillight graphics. Same type of graphics in the internal pieces of the taillights like we have in the front end. And now they actually made it symmetrical in the lower section, even for the non-RS models for the TT, exactly like I want to see. And check out this chamfer right here. Beautiful chamfer, and the shoulder line, again, nice, solid, big chamfer up top here with the fuel cap being race inspired with that design. And also the greenhouse, of course, having this typical Audi curvature to it that is so beautiful, almost looks like a squished Volkswagen Beetle of the time. We have a nice thick rocker panel down here as well with another chamfer. It's just a stunning design. Now, coming into the final version of the Audi TT before they actually discontinued this, it's going to be the Audi TT RS of 2021. And what a machine this is. A proper sports car. One of the best sports cars of this year and of this era, and the design is just spot on. Yes, it got a little bit more complex, but honestly, I don't mind that. It just adds to the aggressiveness of this vehicle. It just looks menacing in the front end. Love that it says Quattro right here. similar to what we had on the Audi RS3 of the time. And comparing these two, you can see just how much more aggressive the RS version looks compared to the regular Audi TT right here on the left. We got a new grille, we got TT RS in the grille right here, and these slots as well, similar again to what we had on the Audi RS3 of the time. Everything is super chiseled, looking very nice, but still it retains this automotive feel without making it too static. And check out this beautiful chamfer that we have going right here, and also underneath the taillight unit, looking stunning. Same goes for the rear end. Now we don't have the pop-up wing for the rear end. Instead, we do have a proper solid wing mounted that is static on the rear end. I do like these lines because what these lines do, we have so many horizontal lines in the rear end. You can see how they extended the width of the diffuser here as well compared to the regular one. It's a little bit wider, and we also have these big oval RS pipes in the lower section, typical for RS versions or models of the time. Beautiful aggressive diffuser with the winglets down there as well, and the taillights looks very similar to what we had in the first generation, even though the internal pieces, as you can see, has been facelifted. So now we have different internal pieces here and a different bumper with this intake right there as well. Still beautiful chamfers here, as you can see. So moving forward from Audi, I knew this was going to happen. Mercedes, I'm not sure if they have officially announced that they were also going to move into more development or further development of internal combustion engine vehicles. We have a lot of brands doing it right now. We talked about it before. We got new V12s from Aston Martin, for example. Bentley is continuing to do internal combustion engines as well. Dodge, probably, hopefully, for their own sake, they bring back the V8, of course, Hemi to the Ram 1500, and the Charger is also going to get the inline 6 now, the Hurricane, into production very quickly because the EV failed to sell. It just fell flat in sales. So it's an interesting time for not just Audi, but I think the whole idea of just having all EVs by 2035, that idea is just not feasible and not profitable enough for car companies to stick around. And I do think Audi is making a great decision by doing this and continuing to develop their internal combustion engines.